Good day, everyone. My name is Anne Michelle Kukiskis, your reporter for today, and our topic is all about quality of differentiated instruction. The differentiated instruction and assessment is also known as differentiated learning, or in education, simply differentiation is a framework or philosophy for effective teaching and that involves providing all the students within their diverse classroom community of learners a range of different avenues for understanding new information. Imagine a teacher is walking around the room as the students are working on their assignments at their seat. One student spending on writing down the answers, which is correct, upon the observation. Another student is having a hard time at the question, trying to figure out the answer or maybe figure the question itself. Yet, another student rolls the pencil around her fingers, or the other student felt sleepy or bored. Each student learned differently, but they all need to learn something. Differentiating instruction can help achieve the student no matter how they learn and what they know. The question is, what is differentiating? Each student work in different pace for different reasons. This is why differentiated instruction is important. Differentiated instruction meet each individual student's need. The first part of differentiating instruction is figuring out what students know so the teachers can help them learn. There are a variety of ways to do the great pre-assessment tools include quizzes and a Google form. After figuring out what each student knows, the challenging part begins. Creating different lessons and activities to meet each student's level and interest can be daunting, but it is necessary to help the students learn. For example, one student struggled to learn or identify the parts of sewing machine, while other student has no problem of identifying them. The first student needs an activity to help them identify the parts, while the other might be ready to sew different clothes. Both of them can achieve success on their own terms and based on their own goals. The last part of the differentiating is to access each student's growth. Assessments can be created to see if the first student is now able to identify the parts of sewing machine. If they found success within the goal, then consequently they learned something. This allows students and teachers to be able to celebrate their success. What is differentiated instruction? Differentiated instruction involves teaching in different ways to different students to match their individual needs. So it recognizes that every student in the classroom has different needs, and therefore we can teach the exact same way or even the exact content to every student and expect them all to get the best outcome they can get. Some students might need additional support, while other students might need a teacher to withdraw a little bit to let them go ahead and just build their own curiosity and their own interests. But some students might be a visual learners while other students might be more interesting or interested in learning through reading. We need to differentiate the way we teach to all the students in our classroom to get the best out of each and every individual students, and that's the essence of this concept of differentiated instruction. The point of this is that it is considered a student-centered approach because the focus is not on how the teacher teaches but is on how the students learn, and it's the teaching has to be respond to students learning. According to Carol Ann Tallamson, she said, Whenever a teacher reaches out to an individual or a small group to vary his or her teaching in order to create the best learning experience as possible, that teacher is differentiating instruction. So, this is all about looking at the child's need or all the students. So, if you're teaching adults, differentiated instruction, it still works just by looking at what their strengths, interests, and styles are teaching accordingly. So, according to Talimson, teachers can differentiate instructions through four ways. First is content, second is process, third is product, and fourth is learning environment. So let's talk about the four ways of differentiate instruction one at a time. And the first one is varying the content. Varying the content is simply means that getting the students to choose an aspect of the topic that will be sorting of bringing them into the learning and get them excited about what would they will learn. As you already know, fundamental lesson content should cover the standards of learning set by school district or state educational standards. But some students in your class may be completely unfamiliar with the concept in the lesson. Some students may have a partial mastery, and some students may already be familiar with the content before the lesson begins. Students who are unfamiliar with the lesson could be required to complete the task on the lower levels. Remembering and understanding. Students with some mastery could be asked to apply and analyze the content, and students who have a high level of mastery could be asked to complete tasks in the areas of evaluating and creating. Here are some examples of differentiating activities. First is match vocabulary words to definitions. Read a passage of text and answer related questions. Think of a situation that happened to a character in the story and a different outcome. The second one is varying the learner process. Each student has a perfect learning style, and successful differentiation includes delivering the material to each style: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, and through words. This process-related method also addresses the fact that not all the students are required the same amount of support from the teacher, and students could choose to work in pairs, small groups, or individually. And while some students may benefit from one-on-one interaction with you or in the classroom aid, others may be able to progress by themselves. Teachers can enhance student learning by offering support based on individual needs. It is more focused on individual activity and not content. For example, all the students could learn the exact same as a very specific thing, but one of them might be learning it through watching a video, and another one might be learning it through reading. This is a varying that the learning process thing is all about how different students have different ways learning that are different, so students are different. So some students might prefer watch things, or some students might prefer to do physical activity. Some students might prefer to read books in silence and letting them choose the way which they approach the learning content. So there are ways on how to assess the learning process through learning stations. It is more on focusing on some physical activity. Through this, the student can choose which station they would like to go first after they move to the next station for the next activity. They are all learning the same content at each station, but it's just that the process of learning itself is a bit different. So, here are some examples of differentiating the process. Provide textbook for visual and word learners. Allow auditory learners to listen to audiobooks. Give kinesthetic learners the opportunity to complete an interactive assignment online. Varying the product. The product is the student creates at the end of the lesson to demonstrate the mastery of the content. This can be in a form of tests, projects, reports, or other activities. You could assign students to complete activities that show mastery of an educational concept in a way the student prefers based on a learning style. So here are the examples of differentiating the end of the product. So first is read and write learners or write a book report. Visual learners create a graphic organizer of the story. Auditory learners give an oral report. Varying the learning environment. The conditions for optimal learning include both physical and psychological elements. A flexible classroom layout is the key, incorporating various types of furniture and arrangements to support both individual or and in-group work. Psychological speaking, teachers should use classroom management techniques that support a safe and supportive learning environment. It involves changing the way students demonstrate their knowledge of the SAM content. So, if we varied our classroom environment so that the students' strength and preferences can be fostered, then maybe we can help differentiate our learning. So, you could say, for example, when we are in a library for a session of learning, if you think that there is a student that might learn by himself, then he can sit over the corner to read. Or if she is more sociable, then they can be in a group where they can share different opinions and learn from one another. So each student have their own way to sort of a situation or an environment where they can learn the best possible way. So here are the example of differentiating the environment. Break some students into a reading groups to discuss the assignment. Allow the students to read individually if preferred. Create a quiet space where there are no distractions. The student need to learn in all different ways. So if we differentiate our instruction, the students are going to learn through watching video, reading, and many more because that's the best way to get students engaged in learning. Differentiating instruction is focusing on the student's strength. It isn't necessarily always a good thing because we also need to focus on their weaknesses and improve upon their weaknesses. So, as a teacher, we need to be really aware of that when differentiating instruction. Students need a broad ability to learn through many different methods. So again, I am Anne Michelle Kiskis from BSED Social Studies 2, and I hope you learned something in today's discussion. Thank you and God bless.